Hi everyone, today's just a quick one. Today I thought I would cover who is Heidi. It sounds a bit silly, but I do think it's important because I have written our programs, not our emotional and mental health programs. I've obviously created the template, but I have not created the content. That was a qualified trauma psychologist, but I have written our body programming and I obviously have created the dollhouse concept. So, who am I? So I am 30 years old. I just celebrated my birthday, super exciting. So that gives perspective, I guess, into my background within the industry. So from the age of literally 9 onwards, so the past 21 years, all I have known is I have lived and breathed fitness. At the age of 9, I started gymnastics as an elite rhythmic gymnast. So rhythmic just means the one with like the ribbon and the ball and the hoop. I competed at a very high level, so I was an elite rhythmic gymnast. I trained 6 days a week, 30 hours a week on top of my school load. I was in a squad targeted to go to the Olympics. I was very fortunate to have multiple state championships as well as national places. So it was, a very wonderful time in my life. It taught me about goals and it also gave me a sense of achievement, which was really special. After that, I went on I completed just the first year of a Bachelor in Fine Arts. So I'm, I guess, quite artistic, that I do like to paint and draw. And you'll find that spirituality side comes through in some of our programming for anyone that is interested in that side. And then from there, what I went to do is I started my career in management as well as my passion for business. But within that sector, I stayed within fitness. So in a way, I got to combine both my loves, both my passions, and it was a really exciting time. So I took my first role at Anytime Fitness. I was there for 5 years as their manager. During that time, I got my bachelor in business management. While I worked there, I also gave birth to my son, who's 4 years old. And during that time, while I was pregnant, I also purchased and saved up on my own for my first business, which was an F45, if anyone's familiar with them. So an F45 training studio. And from there, it's been a really exciting time in terms of ownership and opportunities. And for both those businesses, Anytime Fitness and F45, nothing but gratitude, really good times, really positive times in my life, very fortunate. And the past 5 years, I went on to own 2 F45s as well as my own heated yoga studio. So I've recently sold them this year. I sold all of them this year because I wanted to self-fund Dollhouse Training Club. Dollhouse means so much to me because it represents all my background in the industry. It represents so many women that I have met either in my clubs, the clubs that I worked at or managed or owned, anything like that. It represents all the women that I've met, but it represents all the women that are not in those places, which is who I've created it for. I've listened to my friends and I can honestly say that 90% of them are not at a club, that they're not really exercising. They haven't really found, that fit for them. And that's who I created Dollhouse Training Club for. So that's just a little bit about me. In terms of sustainability and long-term training, I've also had major spinal surgery. So I do have a metal rod in my back. So it's a bit weird, it's about that long. So that was only a couple years ago, about 5 years ago. During that period, I did have to learn to walk again. It took me 1 year as they went in through my ribs, so they broke my ribs, to go in through there. So I do have permanent nerve damage throughout my stomach as well as my leg. Just like anybody, I have my own insecurities about that, but it's something that I've worked through and I'm really fortunate. My back feels good now, and also it taught me a completely different way of training, which is a lot more sustainable than how I used to train. So that's a little bit about my background in terms of fitness, education, just briefly touched on education. I do have other qualifications, but it's fine, we don't need to mention them. And the reason that I created Dollhouse Training Club is I'm very passionate about equality for women, and I'm extremely passionate about opportunities and networking that we can create among ourselves with our many skills and talents. And I also firmly feel that there's 5 core health areas that for a female to feel really good and to love her life and to be happy and to feel empowered, that need to be present. And so I firmly feel and believe they are physical, visual, mental, emotional, and social health. How we combine this into Dollhouse is we are body and mindset training, and these are absolutely two massive passions of mine. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit why I've created Dollhouse. If you have any feedback, we're always open to hear it, and we're just so excited to be getting open and to be sharing with the world what we're doing.